All right. I am recording. Ba, ba, ba.
I am recording. Ba, ba, ba.
I am recording. Ba, ba, ba.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the 714th episode of the Pokemon Champions podcast. I'm your host, Steve. With me is Bobby.
Hello. I know it's the Pokemon Champions podcast now, but I do want to say that I did hit credits in Pokopia, and I'm about 60 hours in now. So,
All right. Austin also here.
I have also hit credits in Pokemon Pokopia, and that was about 80 hours, I think, when I hit it.
Okay. All right. Is that our bonus segment? Is us talking about the credits?
oh, sure.
Could be.
Yeah.
That sounds like a good one.
So you have to sign up for our Patreon to hear our thoughts on the bonus credits. This also helps too because then somebody can't also accidentally be spoiled.
There you go.
That's true.
Yep. That's good.
You have to want to be spoiled.
You have to want. You have to yearn for the spoiling. So there has been a lot of Champions news that has come out. If you did not see, I was invited to Bellevue, Washington by the Pokemon Company International. Here's my disclosure, I guess. They paid for my flight and my hotel, and I played Champions not last week, but the week before. Whatever, Monday and Tuesday, I didn't stream on Twitch.
Right.
And then I had to sit on that information. The embargo lifted this past Wednesday, and then, funny enough, they had Champions playable at PAX on Thursday.
Yep.
which seemed to be a much more controlled experience than what I played.
Okay. Got it. They also did a trailer. They also gave us a bunch of information on Tuesday of last week as well.
Yeah. So the day before the embargo lifted, they released a 6-minute trailer. So we do have a lot of Champions news. Champions is free to start, and so I would assume that a lot of people would be playing it. So again, a lot of Champions news this episode. And then if there's any, there's really not a lot of other news. It's not like Pokopia got an update or anything. It's TCG Pocket got its stuff. The Latios, is it Los or?
Los. Latios.
They start tomorrow.
Does it?
Or does it start one more week? I can't remember.
I thought it started in April.
Oh, yeah, you're right. So
okay.
I think this week is a week of nothing in sleep.
Yes.
Because they do the skill week of nothing.
And then
Latios. Then 2 weeks of the legendary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So nothing really happening in sleep. And not that we've been purposely avoiding Go, but like nothing very exciting happening in Go, just like the same old events.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you both get your Gigantamax Pikachus?
No.
I did. I got my shiny.
Nice. I didn't.
How many did it take?
8.
Oh,
that's not bad.
Yeah. I feel like it was pretty good.
Yeah. I didn't get any.
And for some reason, every raid I joined had like 80 people in it.
Okay.
I don't know how that works because those places definitely don't have 80 people in person playing.
A lot of remotes?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you playing locally? Or were you,
the raids
joining...
I joined were local, yeah.
Okay. Who knows? Yeah, remote raids, I guess.
There was a lot of people in there. I was surprised.
Well, Gigantamax can go up to 100 now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then Dynamax is still 4. Oh, just like whatever, I guess.
I guess. When you get the Dynamax legendaries, though, it's a little bit like, oh,
yeah,
only 4?
they do get a little tricky. It's like, I would like some more, but
that's okay.
Yeah.
That's part of the challenge, I guess.
Champions is out. Let's dive into some news. I really don't know where you two want to start here. There has been some interviews. There was that 6-minute trailer. There's the Japanese website revealed pricing, but the English website did not.
Standard. Yeah, no, I mean, I guess we could start talking just a little bit about your experience because you literally played it. So I know you put a video out about it. That. But yeah, we could kind of start there and then just kind of go from there.
So I was invited out with, I want to say there was 12 of us. I didn't head count the other content creators. Wolfie Glick was there. Aaron Zhang was there. Sierra Dawn, Moxie Boosted, Necra. I'm so sorry if I'm forgetting any other people. Those are just the ones that are off the top of my head. And it seemed very, I don't want to see, I don't want to say like it seemed very handpicked, but I just named a bunch of like very competitive people who make content.
Yeah.
And sometimes with like previews, they'll want a good like range of people, but it did feel, at least on the American side, it was very intentional of, we want people who know what they're doing to do this.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, sorry, I feel like that makes sense because it's like you want people that know what they're talking about when they talk about it. You don't, like, if I went up there, I would have no clue what any of it means. I'd be like, oh yeah, 15%.
Yeah,
So, you know, I get why, I understand why they picked those people. They know what they're talking about.
I believe on the UK side, because me and Joe were talking about our experiences before we were allowed. Me and Joe Sarabee, sorry. Me and Joe Sarabee were talking about our experiences because we both signed the embargo. So we're like, we can talk to each other, but also the embargo is not ready yet, or the embargo is not lifted yet. And Joe is saying kind of the opposite. The UK was like, here's just anyone in media. Here's just, as long as you played like a Nintendo game, they invited you. So the Pokemon UK versus Pokemon America, that's not officially what they're called. They definitely had different ways to go about the like marketing of it.
Yeah. Do you know if anybody was able to go from places that weren't UK or in America? Was there like a third location, or was it just those two?
I think there was a Japanese preview.
Okay.
But I don't know what well, whatever the Pokemon Company does versus the Pokemon Company International is always still a mystery to me.
Yeah, for sure.
So I don't know what was happening on the Japanese side of things. I don't think there was any other. I think those were the two main, was the UK and then the stuff in Bellevue.
Got it.
Although I do think there was another group coming in after us. Actually, now that you said that I didn't even think about, because when we were in the Pokemon Company headquarters, we were on the floor where you're not allowed to take any pictures, which, if the Pokemon Company is like in the process of moving to a different building because they've outgrown that space, especially like during COVID, and so the headquarters I've visited multiple times, when you go up to, I think it's like the 14th floor, there's the check-in area where you'll see like Squirtle, Bulbasaur, Charmander statue, and then there's like the actual Detective Pikachu there, and then there's the Pokemon logo, and then there's usually the pictures of people, like if you look up, there's like a Charizard looking down at you. That's like,
it's creepy.
All of that is, you can take pictures of.
Got it.
Nice.
But we had to go back down to like the meeting rooms. And that has like the crystallized Pokemon like destroyed logo by that. I can't remember that artist.
Yeah.
And I was like, I love this. Like, I want to take a picture of this, but there's no photography on that floor.
Oh, bummer.
At all. So like when you walk in, there's that Pokemon logo on the wall, and then there's like a waterfall in front of you. That's like really cool.
Dang.
And so like behind the waterfall, they had like snacks for us and stuff. And we waited out there, and then they gave us like the embargo details out in, it's almost like a lobby-ish hallway. And then we went into one of the meeting rooms, which I've been in that meeting room before. I played Detective Pikachu in that meeting room. The Switch version of Detective Pikachu. And then they had all the TVs set up with the games.
Got it.
And then there was a room next to that room which had which was like the Zoom call with Hiro, I don't have his name in front of me. The game, also he's not like the direct Hoshino Masaaki, the game producer and development director. So not the game director, development director. So we had a Zoom call with him in another room, and as we moved from room to room, they brought in another group of people. I think the second group of people was just media.
Sure.
So maybe Joe was a part of that on the UK side. Like, maybe they had two groups there, or maybe they just mashed them all together into one.
I believe they mashed them all together because their experience was actually during EUIC.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So their embargo has been quite a while.
Yeah.
Seriously.
And I do know they played Pokemon Champions on the Switch too, but it was just they were told an enhanced version was coming.
Mm,
And when
okay.
I sat down to play, they specifically said this is the enhanced version on Switch 2.
Okay.
But again,
Cool.
EUIC was 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So that was like a pretty big embargo, like a pretty long embargo.
Long one, yeah. If you were, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so I think it was part of that. I think it was like content creators and media who went to EUIC, then got pulled aside to play Champions.
Got it.
I'm not sure how any of this matters. Hopefully this is interesting to listeners in some extent of like kind of how the behind the scenes works.
It's interesting to us at least. I
sometimes think the behind the scenes is more exciting than just like, oh, you played a game for an hour.
Yeah, I get that.
Sometimes.
Sure.
Yeah. Did you watch the other creators' previews at all?
No.
I only
just
watched
yours.
yours and Wolfie's.
Oh, okay. The
I
two
didn't
that
watch
matter the
Wolfie's.
most. No,
Those are the
just
two that I
kidding.
watched. Those are the two that I watched.
I have a lot of things to say. I talk a lot on this podcast, obviously. If you after watching either my preview or Wolfie's preview or anyone else's preview, like what questions did you have? Did you like? Was there any questions that you came away with of like?
Yeah. Is this game going to be good? No, I mean, I'm half joking.
Hey, I want to say I said multiple times where I had fun here. This was great. I said that multiple times.
You
I
did
know
say
that
worrisome like 37 times.
I did.
but-
And I only said one thing was bad, which
Yeah.
was the flipping between regular Pokemon and Mega Pokemon. Like, is not a it's like not a button that exists that should exist.
Right.
Um,
Right.
I think those stats are important to see before you go into the battle. You know, you
Mhm.
can't really work around those. You can't build around those stats if you don't know what they are. You have to go look elsewhere.
Yeah, especially with like Mega Garchomp is a really good example. If you're like building for Mega Garchomp, and you're only looking at regular Garchomp's stats, Mega Garchomp is one of the few Pokemon where its speed actually goes down when it Mega Evolves.
Yeah.
And Mega Garchomp Z, maybe a lot of listeners have not looked at the stats, but its special attack goes way up.
Mm.
And you don't see that on regular Garchomp. So I'm thinking, maybe I didn't explain this well enough in the preview. I'm thinking if I'm just sitting there looking at Garchomp and I'm thinking, oh, maybe I want to like Z Garchomp or maybe I want to like regular Garchomp. If there was just like if I could press the select button or something and it would just like show me those stats right there.
Mhm.
Because when I was looking at Mega Victory Bell, which I didn't end up using because there was no Mega Stone, I was like, I don't know where Mega Victory Bell's stats go. Like, I don't know if it gets faster. I don't know if it becomes a different attacker.
Right.
Right. And so I just had to look it up on my phone, which is like not that big of a deal. But I really
But it's like-
think you should just be able to see it in the game.
Yeah, the whole
It
point
feel-
is to not go somewhere else for these.
Yeah,
Like
but
they
the
should all
game-
be there.
The game is telling you so much. That's the one thing they don't tell you.
Yeah, so I think that is a valid complaint.
Hmm.
And I don't
Yeah.
think I think if I was to like present that to like Wolfie or something or like Aaron Zhang, I'd be like, hey, don't you think the game should do that? They would have 100% be like, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
That
you
makes
already are
sense.
telling us so much other information.
Yeah. No, that totally makes sense. Yeah. I mean, when you played, did you play a double battle or did you play single battle?
You could pick.
Okay.
I think everyone in the group picked double
That makes sense.
because we're real Pokemon
Right.
players.
Okay.
Yeah, everyone would pick double. You could have picked single. I did. This was this was much of a bummer, but it would have been nice to play like one more match.
Sure.
Like
We
we
just played
walked
one
in.
match?
Yeah, we walked in. We all did the tutorial missions that they wanted us to do, which was like one single battle, one double battle. The single battle is actually longer than the double battle, because the single battle they wanted you to complete the battle. It was like 2v2.
Hmm.
And then the double battle was like, okay, you hit both Pokemon with Rock Slide, demo tutorial over. And I was like, oh, we're not finishing this? Okay, I guess.
Okay.
And then I think the longest portion was just like building a team,
Mm-hmm.
which honestly was like fun. Like they're great, and we can get into like building teams versus actually playing. And then we did our match, and I played against Sierra Dawn, and she's absolutely fantastic, and she's so easy to talk to, and we've hung out at multiple events before. So like playing against Sierra was also like a highlight of like playing against somebody is always like a nice thing to do.
Nice. Yeah, for sure. Did they say how victory points, like how many victory points people will get for certain things? Because I feel like you had like unlimited victory points to build your team, but that's obviously not going to be the standard for people playing the game.
When I looked in the corner, it was like 174,000 victory points.
Yeah, that seems like a lot. They just yeah.
It's like ultimately unlimited. Well, to recruit a Pokemon, we know that, right? We know to trial recruit is 0 VP.
Mm-hmm.
Permanent recruit is 2,500 VP, and then permanent recruit, there's like a pink ticket icon, and I'm not sure if that's a quick ticket or a what's the other
training ticket?
Training ticket.
Mm-hmm.
But the permanent recruit is unlimited period, and the tickets, training ticket or quick ticket, is also unlimited.
Mm-hmm.
So unsure what that is, but 2,500 VP to recruit a Pokemon, and then to train a Pokemon, it is 100 VP to change a move. So if you want all 4 moves, that's 400 VP. 200 VP to change a nature, and then 400 VP to change the ability. There's no extra cost if it's a hidden ability or not. It's just all abilities are 400 VP, so that's nice.
Okay, that's good.
And then it's 2 VP per stat point, and you can do 66 stat points. So 2 times 66. Bobby, you're the accountant. 132.
Yeah.
So 132 plus 100 plus 200, or sorry, 1 plus 400 plus another 400. So that's just 1,000. So 1,132 to change everything.
Okay.
So to recruit a Pokemon and power it up is like 3,000-ish VP. Not 3,000, sorry. 3,500.
But we don't know if
VP.
that's easy to get or not. Right? Like we don't.
Right.
I've heard, and I'm not 100%. Like, here's the thing: is like you can hear a number, but these numbers have changed. There, at one point, there was a screenshot going around that recruiting a Pokemon was only 1,000 VP.
Okay.
And now recruiting a Pokemon is 2,500 VP.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very easy to say like we see the VP now. That's what we saw. None of that stuff was finalized.
Sure.
And maybe that said it in like the thing we signed of like, not everything here is final, right? Like gameplay may not correlate to real gameplay, like whatever the disclaimer is.
Yeah.
So these numbers could change. I heard that it was 200 VP per a win. Like I beat Sierra. That's not to brag or anything, but when I beat her, it didn't give me anything.
Well, because you already had unlimited VP.
Well, yeah, but like it didn't say like 200 VP awarded.
Yeah.
But I think it's because we were just I think we went to private matches and then we went to search.
Okay, got it.
So no clue if you get VP if you lose.
I think.
But
you
okay,
would.
let's look
I don't
at the
think
VP.
you would. It's a victory point.
Yeah, let's look at the numbers we know for sure, which is recruiting a Pokemon is 2,500, and let's assume you get 200 for winning.
Mm-hmm.
That's 13 matches you have to win.
Yeah.
That's a lot of matches.
That is a lot.
That seems like a lot. That
does.
Yeah.
And if you take into account that, like, let's just say a Pokemon battle takes you 20 minutes, which I would say maybe is on the lower end. That's people not like doing, that's probably you not facing a Ferrothorn, right? That's probably you not facing a Corviknight or a Celesteela. So maybe you're fighting more of a hyper aggressive team. So the match goes a little bit quicker. that's 600 points if you're winning in 3 hours. Or sorry, in an hour.
An hour, yeah.
600. So that's almost like what 5 to 6 hours of playing to recruit one Pokemon.
Yeesh.
Yeah. Now, to be fair, if you're recruiting a Pokemon, that probably means you don't just have them in home and can't just use the ones you have in home, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
There is that. I mean, you don't.
But that's
have
just
to...
recruiting the Pokemon.
Yeah, and if they're getting new, they want to get new people battling, right? So I would
Yeah, I
imagine
feel like
there's gonna be like a lot of recruiting happening and stuff.
A lot of people that are gonna play are not gonna have those Pokemon in home.
Yeah.
So
ideally, you ignore the 2,500 cost if you move a Pokemon from home in any way, which is funny because like I'm actually curious how many people don't have a home account. Like that's probably a real thing that people.
Yeah.
Like I know tons of Pokemon fans that maybe they catch a shiny Pokemon in Sword and Shield. That Pokemon's still in Sword and Shield. They had no desire to move it over to Scarlet and Violet.
Yep.
Like I still have 60 plus shinies in Sun and Moon that I just haven't moved over. I still have my regular Lunala and Solgaleo in Sun and Moon because I didn't want to transfer them out because then I don't have a way to change the time in Sun and Moon.
Oh,
yeah.
Yep.
And it's like, but I would like those legendaries to be where my other legendaries are. But also, what if I need to change the time? What if I need to go to nighttime? I need to bring one of those to the altar to change the time.
Yep.
So I do think this is a big ask. And I think some players are downplaying this ask. And I think the easiest way for me to compare this to, so when I made my video, I made it in the sense of I wasn't thinking about me, or I wasn't even thinking about like you two, because you guys play enough Pokemon where if you wanted to get into Champions and you wanted to use an Incineroar, that I know that you two somewhere in one of your games has an Incineroar. That's Pokemon Go or Scarlet and Violet. I know you guys have an Incineroar. When I made my video and I was thinking about the person who is going to play this on mobile later this year.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why like my video was maybe not as chippy as other people's videos because it's very easy for me to sit in front of a camera or come on a podcast and say all this VP stuff, none of it matters to me. I have every single Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
And that's true. Like I will probably not have a VP problem at all in Pokemon Champions because I have everything I need. And one of the questions we don't know yet is, if my Incineroar is max HP, max attack in Scarlet and Violet. I don't know why it would be, but let's just say for sake of ease, it's max HP, max attack. And if I already trained it in Scarlet and Violet and I moved it over into Champions, does it keep those stats?
Right.
And if it does, that's another way to say like, I'm VP rich, right? I don't have to waste my VP doing this.
Yeah.
It's already done.
Right.
I would assume nature would work, right? So if I change my Incineroar to Adamant, I don't know why that would change when it moved to Champions. That would be super weird.
It shouldn't.
So that's saving me 200 VP per Pokemon already there too. An ability the same way. If I have an Intimidate Incineroar, which I can easily change. Like I have like 700 ability capsules in Scarlet and Violet. Like I can change anyone's ability. I could change abilities back and forth for an hour for free and still have ability capsules.
Right.
So that's like just the basic of Incineroar. I'm saving 600 VP just on nature and ability alone.
Mm-hmm.
But even if you're moving from Pokemon Go, you don't have that luxury, right?
True. Yeah. You have none of that. Does it just? Oh, I guess you wouldn't know this yet. Does it just randomize in nature? Like when you move something from Go to home.
That's a great question. I don't remember how Go assigns a nature when you move it over.
Okay.
I've never even considered it.
I've never really thought
I've never
about
even thought. Most people should not think about that, right? Yeah.
Just never cared.
But now they definitely will.
Yeah.
Going into Champions, right? Because now it's like, if you get lucky and that Incineroar happens to be adamant that you moved from Go to home, then you save VP. And if you got unlucky, then you got to spend, however much you said it costs to change the nature. So
Yeah, 200 for nature, which maybe that's one win.
one win, yeah.
And that's assuming you win, right? You could, well, what if you lost twice and then you won? That's an hour just to change a nature.
Because your Incineroar has the wrong nature. You lose.
You're losing more because your Incineroar has the wrong nature. It has Blaze. It should have Intimidate. Your opponent's like, why is this Incineroar not intimidating me?
And then I think you might have mentioned it in your video. Was there a limit to how many Pokemon you could bring over from home a day?
Yeah, that was like the other like slightly negative thing I said in my video was, and it really didn't have anything to do with Champions. It just had to do with how they grouped us all together. They asked us for questions for Masaaki. They asked us to write questions early so they could translate them, so they could see if there would be answers for them when we showed up.
Right.
So the creators, including myself, they provided a bunch of questions, and then a lot of the questions just straight up got cut. And the reason for that was we don't have answers for this, or we can't answer this. So we went from I don't know how many questions down to I think 6. And 5 of them were just pretty, like 5 of them felt either they didn't understand the full intent of the question, and so the answer, it came out really generic, or they gave us like here's the by the book answer that we have to say because
the corporate answer.
The corporate answer, yes. So the only one question that mattered, and I included all 6 questions in my YouTube video if you really want to see what they were, and you'll be like, oh, okay, this was very like corporate.
So generic sometimes. So generic.
It's interesting that the other creators didn't include all the questions. But I thought like, hey, somebody should include all the questions. Like, you should see what they are.
I mean, they were asked, right? So
they were asked, and you should see how these people are answering the questions.
Yeah, I think it's important to see how they answer.
Yeah.
So the one question that mattered was, hey, when you move a Pokemon from Pokemon Go to home, there's a cooldown, which is I think I talked about the cooldown. The cooldown is like you can do like 5 shinies every 6 days or 1 shiny legendary every like 6-7 days. Will that cooldown exist when you move into Champions? And they said no. They said the only thing that you have your box of like 30, and then if you move some Pokemon in, you would have to like move other Pokemon out.
Sure.
Right.
So yeah, you can. So, but there's no cooldown. There's no punishment. There's no. They didn't even say there's a VP cost to that.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that, but like it seemed free to move Pokemon in from home to Champions.
I mean, it would be they could do it, but it would be weird in a game that's all about like moving your Pokemon in from home to then make a cost to move your Pokemon in from home.
Although,
like, talk about like putting up a bit of a wall there.
To be fair, if this is targeting mobile players and Pokemon, they still have that cooldown for Pokemon Go.
They do. Yeah, you're right.
So that still does exist.
See, I feel like I would have brought that up in my YouTube video. People have been like, oh, no one cares about this. No, this doesn't matter. But it does. It does.
It matters, though.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have all these other Pokemon, you don't have the time to spend putting VP in the game. You can't just bring over 10 Incineroar from Go right off the bat. 10 shiny and whatever. You just, there is a limit there.
You can move. Okay, so to be fair, as long as it's not shiny, you can move
shiny ones.
Quite a few. But like a non-shiny legendary still takes up a lot of the bar
of the stuff. Yeah, I can't
whatever
wait
the
for
bar
Austin's,
is called.
I can't wait for Austin's team of 6 shiny Incineroar.
It'll have to happen.
Yeah, you could easily move like 200 Pidgeys.
Sure.
And the bar's not going to fill up that.
But you can't, to be fair, you can't move 200
Pidgeys. Use Pidgey in Champions.
You can't.
You're right. No Pidgey with Eviolite out of the question. I think the I talked about Champions for like 2 hours on my Twitch stream last night, and I think it's hard to try to like take that 2 hours and consolidate it down into like 30-minute segments on the show, especially because like I just don't want to talk the entire time. I want to hear your guys' opinions. But there is this like, well, it doesn't affect me attitude with a lot of things in Pokemon. So like most of my there was a lot of I will say this, there was a lot of super positive comments on my YouTube videos, on my YouTube Champions video. I appreciate everyone that watched it. It's really nice to see that people come to my channel and they're like, your video felt really genuine, your video felt like really sincere, your video didn't feel like it was blinded by the fact that you got a free flight and hotel. Like those mean the world to me, because I'm trying to just give information, and I'm trying to think about other players that aren't myself, that again, that I have everything, so none of this will affect me, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then the negative comments, which there weren't that many, but the negative comments are always like, hey, this actually doesn't matter. And I just, there's so much pushback I have with that. For example, when I'm thinking of the person who is not getting Champions in 2 weeks or whatever, and the reason they're not getting Champions in 2 weeks is because they don't have a Nintendo Switch. So when you're saying just transfer Pokemon from Sword and Shield, just transfer Pokemon from ZA, they don't have a Switch. That means they're waiting for the mobile version. So your solution of just transfer Pokemon doesn't work.
Right.
When they're waiting for the mobile version, which is going to be the bigger version. Let's like not sugarcoat it.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Like it will be the thing that people will play on the most, because people have phones.
Yep.
Not everyone has a Switch. Not everyone has a Switch 2. So when the mobile version comes out, which I believe is going to be after August, because they're probably going to release it after Worlds. They'll probably make a Worlds announcement of like, this is when it comes out. And your comment to my YouTube video is like, well, just trade, just use Pokemon Home. You don't care about VP. The people on mobile, the only place they will be able to get Pokemon from is Pokemon Go. And you're assuming they're playing Pokemon Go.
Yep. And if they're playing Pokemon Go, and if they are playing Pokemon Go and only playing Pokemon Go, there's no chance they're paying for Pokemon Home. So that means that like, even if they have a Pokemon Home account, they can only be putting 30 Pokemon in there, because there's no way they're paying for it if they only have Go. They probably don't even have it downloaded if they only play Go.
And I'm pretty sure, even though you can put 30 Pokemon into Champions, right? For free.
Yep.
And you only get a free 30 box in Go or in Home.
Yep.
The Pokemon don't leave Home. They still sit in Home.
Right.
So you're not using Champions as like an extra 30 storage.
Right. Yeah.
True. And you can't move those Pokemon out of Home at any point if you're just playing Go, because you can't move them back to Go. So
thank you.
Stuck there.
Holy cow. I'm glad you see, and this is what like people aren't thinking of.
Yeah.
Is like these little things that start to add up for a player who is supposed to be getting into competitive. So there's two types of players here. There's the players that are competitive, like myself, that no matter where the competitive is, I will follow. And this is very similar like TCG players, right? Unfortunately, you can't just have your cards from Plasma freeze forever. You got to keep buying new cards, right? Yeah. And if you want to play competitively, you got to keep up with the format. Your Tapu Leles from Sun and Moon, they don't work anymore. I know you paid $80 for your Tapu Leles when they came out because you needed them, but they don't work anymore. You got to keep paying every 3 months. You got to keep it up. But so competitive players like me for VGC, we're just going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
And you saw that with like Moxie Boosted or Sierra Dawn, right? Like they're very excited. And, the actual battle parts of Champions was great. It felt fine. Like it felt like battles. It was exciting. The moves look good. The games look good. But when I'm thinking of this pitch that they're doing, and I think it was very obvious with that 6-minute Nintendo video. Holy cow, was it so obvious. Like, there's no way that, like, Necra or like Sierra Dawn or like these commentators, like that video wasn't for them.
Right.
That
Sure.
video was like, Charizard is super effective against Venusaur.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
if you switch it to Blastoise, you take less. Like, it was the most basic
Yep.
entry level of battling. And if you watch, like, they didn't make a 6-minute video because they were bored, right? They weren't just like, what should we put in this 6-minute video?
It's because they listened to this podcast. They were like, "Oh, the people want more information. We need to get this out ASAP."
We gotta drop something.
That 6-minute video was targeted to people who have never played competitive.
Oh, for sure. That's 100%.
They made a 6-minute video being like, you who have never played competitive should play. Why? It's actually really smart too. Why would they make a 6-minute video for people like me or people like Wolfie Glick? We're already gonna play. You don't have to. We're hook, line, and sinker. We're already. You don't have to show us anything, and we're sold.
Yep. Well, okay. And can I bring up another point too? So you had the questions that you got to ask Masaki Hoshino, and then it sounds like there are other media outlets that also asked questions or had interviews and things like that with him. And one of the things that he brought up about the whole, so one of the things that's been a little controversial this week, right, is that they're only going to have final evolutions available in Champions at launch, right? So you can't bring in your Porygon 2, you can't bring in your Clefairy, you can't bring in your Pikachu for some reason.
Pikachu's actually allowed.
Oh, is Pikachu going to be allowed?
Yeah,
Okay.
Pikachu is allowed.
Of course, Pikachu is going to be allowed. I don't know. IGN was really harping on like Pikachu, whether Pikachu's going to be allowed or not. But
according to Cerebi, I have the list up. Pikachu is allowed. Okay.
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah,
but
it makes sense.
Anyways, you can't. It's going to be mostly final evolutions other than Pikachu at launch. And he was interviewed and said specifically that they didn't want to confuse players thinking that they could bring in a non-evolved Pokemon and then basically just get dominated by evolved Pokemon. And when you hear that being a thing, you can hear how focused that they must be on people who don't play Pokemon. Because we all obviously know, like, I'm not going to bring an Eevee into a match where there's like, I'm facing an Incineroar.
But what
like,
if it's a Gmax?
Why would I? Why is a Gmax Eevee? Like, why would I do that? But the fact that they did this, and then he's not the game director, right? He's the
game director is correct.
Okay. The fact that he said like we're doing this
game producer. He's saying that we're doing this so that people aren't confused and aren't going in completely underpowered. I think really speaks to how much this game is being pushed toward getting brand new people into playing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. So yeah.
So again, if you're a player who has all of these Pokemon in other games, you own a Switch, you've been playing for competitive for years, that's fine. And my video was never talking to those players. My video was talking to people who want to try this for the first time. The recruitment stuff seems a little high. And if your answer to this was just so, I have a big thought about accessibility in this game, but we should take a break. There's some other interesting things about Champions that I didn't cover in my video that we've learned later. So we'll take a break and then we'll talk about accessibility and how that may play a part in either keeping people or pushing people away. So we will be right back. And we are back. Accessibility. That's what we're talking about. So I think the thing that's being touted, is that the correct word? Touted a lot.
Sounds good to me.
That sounds like the right word.
That sounds like a phrase that people say.
That's a word.
I think the thing that I've been seeing a lot is like, oh my gosh, this game is going to be so accessible. It's going to get people into competitive battling.
Okay.
And I think that's true to an extent. I think again, there are like really there's a spectrum of players, but there's the people on my spectrum that are, we have everything. We have, we bought ZA, we played ZA, we got rare candy in ZA, we got the bottle caps in ZA, we got the mints in ZA. Like, we can change things around before we move it to home and before we move it to Champions. And then there are the players who, even if you just played through a Pokemon game, let's just say you just played through Sword and Shield, took you 25 hours from start to finish to get to credits, you might not have anything. Like,
Right.
Like, it's not like you just playing through the basic story is going to give you, 20 bottle caps and unlimited XL candy and, a bunch of mints, right?
Yeah.
Right.
For sure.
Now, no one's disagreeing that it is more accessible. It is more accessible to look at a bunch of sliders, to just flip your ability, to just change your moves. But that is at the cost of VP. And again, we don't know how easy or hard it is to get VP. If everything is perfect on your Incineroar and the only thing it's missing is Intimidate, ideally you'd have to win at least one match in order to change that. And that can be anywhere between 20 minutes to 2 hours, or something, to be like, I just keep losing because my Incineroar doesn't have Intimidate. But I think where the accessibility argument falls apart is if you're looking at Champions and you're like, well, this is more accessible, and I'm going to say, well, look at the people who will eventually play this on mobile. They don't have Sword and Shield, they don't have Scarlet and Violet, they maybe have Pokemon Go. That's not really more accessible to them. And if your answer is like, well, just trade, that doesn't make Pokemon Champions unique in any way. That the just trade, you just apply that to every Pokemon game. Hey,
Right.
I don't have this Pokemon in Sword and Shield. Okay, just trade. Yeah, okay. That's like not
Sure.
that's not unique to Champions. That
Sure.
is a problem that has existed, and the just trade has always been a simpler solution
Sure.
to that.
Yeah. I mean, I see what you're saying. I do think that it's more accessible in the sense that anyone who didn't have a Switch is now going to have a chance to play competitive Pokemon,
Yeah.
right? So like they now have that opportunity, and they may not have Pokemon, or they may not have Pokemon Go or Pokemon Home. So it's going to be more of a journey for them to get teams built up and things like that, because they're going to have to go and get all the VP in order to do that. But that is a step up from they don't have the ability to play competitive Pokemon at all.
Depending on how hard it is to get the VP, do you think that just pushes people away? If they're not already invested and they see the barrier to entry, and they're like, maybe not. They'll play for a week or two and then drop it.
Yeah, I see that, but I also think you are just getting a bunch of people who may or may not like battling, and they didn't know that before. And now they're
That's
going
true.
to step
Now they
in
know.
and they're going to say, oh, I really like this. This is
Oh,
really
sure,
fun.
yeah.
And so they're going to keep playing, and they're going to get those victory points over time and be able to do things. And maybe they start off with, I also wouldn't expect someone who's brand new to competitive, or just to Pokemon battling in general, to be like, oh, I need to move these EVs this way. Oh, I need this nature to be this way. Oh, I need this ability to be that way. Like, those are not going to be things right off the bat that
Sure.
someone who's never done this before is going to be looking at, right? They're going to be like, oh, this is fun. Battling is fun. Playing against other people and doing these double battles or single battles is fun. And then from there, if they want, they will learn all these mechanics and then go through that process. And then maybe they get a home
Yeah.
subscription. Now, maybe it pushes them to buy a Switch. Maybe
it's
things
doing
like that.
exactly what you think it's doing.
Mm.
Yeah.
So now you want to buy a Switch in ZA.
It's almost like that's their grand plan.
Yeah, right.
I think I don't think there's any debate of like this game will be a hit when it drops, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think that there's any debate on when it comes out on mobile, it will probably even see even more people.
Yeah.
The question is, are the mechanics, are the hoops you have to jump through, everything that I said is worrisome in my video. are those going to result in people hitting a wall and bouncing off?
Right.
And I think a really good example of this is Pokemon Unite. So many people like Pokemon Unite was huge when it came out. Not so much anymore, but it's still pretty healthy.
Right.
Maybe some Unite people would say debatable, but it's still going along. But Unite was huge when it came out, and part of the reason why it was huge is because it was free.
Yeah.
And to your point, Bobby, of like maybe people just don't like competitive, but at least they get to try it. 100% agree, because in Unite, think of how many people have never played a MOBA. They never played League of Legends. They never played Dota, and they downloaded Unite because it was Pokemon battling in a different way that they've never seen before.
Mhm.
And some people stuck with it for at least a couple weeks and then realized maybe at the end of that, I don't like MOBAs.
Mhm.
And then they fell off. But Unite has so many ways of capturing your money, whether that's through costumes or battle passes or whatnot. Like, I don't play Unite anymore. Would I play Unite again? Yeah, sure. But they got at least 3 to 4 battle passes out of me.
Yeah.
They got at least the starter bundles out of me.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't imagine how many people fell into that ploy of, well, I'm already here playing and I'm having a good time for the first week. Maybe I'll give it a little bit of money.
Yeah, for sure.
So I don't think Champions is going to come out and just like completely flop, but I do think there's a possibility where Champions comes out, that new car smell wears off, and then Champions starts to bleed players. And if you look at another game like Pokemon TCG Pocket, this is a game where you can go in and you can get 2 packs for free, and you don't have to spend any money. And there's a little battle section over there, and if you do the battle section, you can get more free packs, which I don't think they're generous enough with the free packs in the battle section, but you can do both. And then there's like battle the CPU, and you can go auto battle the CPU, and you can walk to the bathroom and come back and be like, I don't know what's happening here, but I need to take control because the CPU battle is going terribly. So even in that game I just described, you can log in, you can get your free booster packs, you can open packs. That's the main appeal of the game, is opening booster packs. There's nothing competitive about that. You can battle real people and get more packs. You can battle the CPU and get more packs. Champions has none of that. It is you log in and you battle a real person, and that's it.
Yep.
And I think they're trying to cater. Well, okay, I don't think they're trying. They are definitely, with all of their marketing, the 6-minute video and the interviews and how they're positioning this game, they are trying to get people who have never played before.
Yeah.
That is very obvious.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the recruitment thing is even more obvious, that is their way of trying to capture those casual people.
Mm-hmm.
And again, me in my position, I don't ever need to use the recruitment thing. I don't need a random furfru from recruitment. 1, I'm never going to use furfru. But 2, I got all the furfrus. Big, small, shiny, pharaoh trim, I got them all. I don't need to ever recruit a furfru. So I will say 2 things. Number 1 is, when I sat down and played it, and after I walked away from it, Champions is exactly the game I thought it was going to be over a year ago. And I said, hey, over a year ago, I said, hey, I think they're going to do like a Pokemon Stadium-like game that's going to come out.
Mm-hmm.
And then they announced it, and then I was like, it's just going to be a battle sim. And I also specifically said, if you've listened to these podcasts, like, a competitive can exist in multiple places, right? Like, they can still do competitive in Scarlet and Violet, which they're doing right now, and then this can exist, and they could still do competitive in Gen 10. And I think a lot of people like hang on to that, thinking like, well, why would they make this game if they just do competitive to Gen 10? Well, 1, you're hanging on this thought for too long, but also, like, we know Gen 10 is going to introduce a new battle mechanic. It's not going to just randomly appear in Champions at first. There will have to be battles in Gen 10 for them to then move that to Champions. So it has to exist.
Right.
But like, just because new games come out doesn't mean that Champions just can't exist as a platform.
Yeah.
Right. Of course.
And I even said on multiple podcasts, like, hey, Gen 10 introduces a new gimmick. Eventually that moves to Champions. Gen 11 introduces a new gimmick. That eventually moves to Champions. And then you still capture all that nostalgia of people being like, I really miss Z moves. That was like 10 plus years ago. Like literally Z moves were 10 plus years ago at this point. But
That's
like
wild.
there is a platform for you to then play with Z moves that exists.
Right.
And that's good. Just like in the Battle Sim TCG Live, there is a platform where you can play with older cards. Are those cards relevant now? No. Is there any real benefit to doing that? No, except that it feeds your nostalgia and it gets you to open another Pokemon app.
Yeah.
And as long as you're opening Pokemon apps, they don't care which ones it is. Unite, Sleep, Cafe Remix, you're opening their product. That's like one of the things we talked about with Pokemon Sleep. If you can get an app to get a person to wake up, and that is one of the first apps they check in the morning, that is so incredibly powerful. And I adore Pokemon Sleep. I think it's one of the best Pokemon games they've ever made. I'm $200+ into Pokemon Sleep because I got to pay $50 every 6 months to play this game. And that's insane to think about. To be like $100 a year on Pokemon Sleep. But it is a powerful app, even if you think Sleep is bad, to be one of the first apps somebody checks in the morning.
Yeah. To
And
be
it
fair,
is...
before someone in the comments comes through, you don't have to pay $50 a month to play this game.
Oh,
we
you
choose
have
to pay $50 a month to play this game.
I was gonna say, if somebody wakes up and opens Pokemon Champions to do a battle right when they wake up, I feel sorry for you.
That's crazy.
I'm sorry to hear that.
You can direct all those comments to Austin.
I feel the same way about Unite too. Ain't no way.
So Pokemon Champions was exactly the thing I thought it was going to be. Just like there is no single player battle tower, there is no gym leader challenge, there is no like fun other modes. It is here's a bunch of tutorials. And I saw some of the names of the other tutorials. I don't remember the exact names, but it seems like the tutorials are really thought out, and that's awesome. And your options are just like what I said in my video. Imagine the Scarlet and Violet menu. You got single battles, you got double battles. You want ranked or casual for those, and then you have private battles, and that's it. So unlike Pocket, which is bleeding players right now, you can't just go in and auto battle an NPC. I imagine there's a big part of Pocket players that do the battles, but only the NPC battles because they don't want to play real humans.
That was me. That was me before I stopped playing the battles. It was always only just against the CPU.
I think the only time I battled someone real was for the emblems.
Way back when the game came out.
And the other thing is, like, with Pocket, you go in and you get your 2 free packs. And I was wrong about Champions in the sense of I didn't ever think that this game would borderline be a gacha game. Like, I didn't think that like, out of all the things that they would do, like, here's battling real people, ranked, casual, private. Maybe here's a gym leader tower, or hey, maybe here's like just like a sun and moon battle tower. Like, I'd imagine something of that would exist. I did not imagine that they would design, here's how you get new Pokemon if you want, because you don't have other games and you don't have anyone to trade with. But log in every day, pull this slot lever, 10 Pokemon randomly present in front of you, and you get to pick one. And you only get to pick that one for 7 days. But if you cash in your hard-earned VP that you can't buy, then you get to keep one.
Yeah.
And we need a mechanic for the casual people, so they think when they wake up in the morning after they're done feeding their Snorlax and Pokemon Sleep, they go, "Oh, I can which 10 Pokemon am I going to get today?"
Yeah.
And is it going to be one that is good enough to spend VP on? We're going to add shinies and marked Pokemon to this, because why not? We've added shiny cards to TCG Pocket. We've added shiny cards to we added shiny Pokemon to Sleep. We've added shiny Pokemon to Masters. Now, when I say that, people are like, well, shiny Pokemon don't matter for competitive. That's not the point.
Right.
the point, like shiny. I've said this, and shiny people who do care about shiny people get mad. I make both people mad. Like I make the competitive people mad when I say like, hey, they added shiny Pokemon. They like, well, they don't matter, and then I make the shiny people mad when I say like shiny Pokemon really don't matter because they don't. Because if you cared about shiny Pokemon, it's like, why aren't you playing Masters?
Right.
Like you can
If
be
that's
like,
your selling point.
I love shiny Pokemon. Okay, they exist in Sleep. Why aren't you playing Sleep? I know that this. I'm not talking to the people who are actively playing Sleep. I'm talking to the people who like love shiny Pokemon, but they're not playing these games.
Right.
But I do think there's a slight hook there of like, well, I want to check the recruits because what if there is a shiny Pokemon?
Sure.
Or what if there is a marked Pokemon? Or like
Mhm.
that's neat. Or if you don't know anything about competitive, you're going to take the shiny. Right?
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you're presented with 10 Pokemon and you're not sure what to take, of course you're going to take the shiny. Heck,
Right.
if it was a shiny Furfrou, I would just take the shiny Furfrou just to be like, well, this is kind of a waste of VP, but
It's something.
it's kind of cool that it like happened.
Yeah.
But then are shinies not to pay to win, but you are paying for shinies. Not you're earning the points, I guess. So it's not the same as shiny hunting them. Maybe it is because you got to reset the rolls every day, but you're
Well,
paying
you
to get
can-
it.
Have you ever been to an in-person Pokemon Go event where you pay and then the shiny rates are way boosted?
Well,
You're
hold
paying
on,
for
hold on.
shinies there.
You are, yeah, you are.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. It's a fair point.
I mean, like, okay, so we know some of the pricing, maybe some of the pricing. So $9.99 for the starter pack.
Hold on,
This
sorry.
is-
Before we get into this, we have
Oh,
not
okay.
mentioned, we're how far into this podcast now? 45 minutes in? 50 minutes in? We haven't mentioned the release date for Champions because that just came out this week.
Oh, yes, it is April 8th.
Yeah, April 8th on the
So a little over a week
Switch.
from this podcast.
Yeah. Okay.
I think going back to the gotcha mechanic before we get to the prices, I'm loosely using the term gotcha. You are getting presented 10 random Pokemon, but unlike a gotcha, you get a pick.
Yeah.
Right. So like
Mhm.
normally a gotcha machine is, there's like 6 different gotcha balls in there. You put your 200 yen in. You only want Piplup. You end up getting Snom. You go, Snom's cool, but I really want Piplup. So you put another 200 yen in. But that behavior can apply to champions, right? Like I
Mhm.
did it.
Sure.
Because I had so much VP, I did, here's 10 Pokemon. Great, I'm going to pick this one. Here's another 10 Pokemon. Great, I'm going to pick this one. You cannot sit there and tell me that somebody isn't going to want to do that. And I
Right.
think when you look at the recruitment screen, it says how would you like to recruit this Pokemon, and in the B-roll they gave everyone. So me, Moxie Boosted, Wolfie, Necra, we all got the same B-roll. But in that B-roll, it says Toxapex the Sociable. So Marks are there, which is really exciting. I like Marks.
Mhm.
But I look at this like first 10 Pokemon. There's like a Clauncher, an Espeon, a Blastoise, a Furfrou, a Toxapex, a Rhyperior, a Houndoom. All of these Pokemon are trash. Like in no way am I ever picking.
Houndoom, Gale of Darkness's best Pokemon
Stop.
is there.
Like if I got this 10 pull in the morning, I would also probably pick the Toxapex because it's marked.
Yeah.
But isn't Toxapex good at one point? Wasn't it good at one point in time?
It's good in it's more good in singles
Okay.
than it is in doubles. Okay, like Rhyperior is fine, like Blastoise is fine, like I get it, but like ain't no one should be picking Houndoom. It's just not good competitively in any way. And it has the same typing as Incineroar, and Incineroar is like significantly better. But even on top of like you should never pick Houndoom, you should also never buy Houndoom's Megastone. You are actively throwing away VP if you decide to buy Houndoom's Megastone, which is like another problem that they're going to not take advantage of. But if you just don't know competitive Pokemon enough and you're restricted to VP because you have to win, it's just like all these little things start adding up. Where it's like, sure, I could trade in an Incineroar I caught in Pokemon Go, but I gotta buy items, and I gotta spend to recruit, and I gotta spend to train. And what if I trained it wrong? Like it might not be taking your money directly, but it is taking a lot of time.
Yeah,
and,
for sure.
And if your main goal is to be accessible, a 20-minute battle. Where if you lose, you don't get any points. No clue. Maybe if you do lose, you do get some points.
Mhm.
But a 20-minute battle of losing and not to get points, and you're like, I still
rough.
can't change my Incineroar. Like, that's not really the pinnacle of accessibility that I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
There's a different level of accessibility that yes, of course, like moving the sliders are easier, but like I think that's just like excuses at this point. Like, they made EV training and building a Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet so incredibly easy. I will admit, like, you can't see the exact numbers, right? Like,
Yeah,
there's
that
no
part-
slider.
Yeah.
But if
part
I'm
does
going to do
annoy me.
252, 4 in Scarlet and Violet, that's like seconds to do.
So sorry, just going off of that real quick with the EVs. Did they change something about that in Champions?
They
It looks like it's different.
No, it's
Or-
the same.
It's the same? Okay.
So there's 512 EVs that can be assigned. There's 510 points that can be assigned to a Pokemon.
Sure.
So when you do 256, you have 6 left over, 6 points.
252, 252.
Oh
right?
yeah, 252, 252,
Yeah.
and then you have 6 points left over.
Right.
It takes 4 points to make one EV. This is if you're at level
Oh.
100.
Okay.
So you would
Sure.
always have 2 points
Yeah.
left over that you couldn't do anything with. Which
Got
is
it.
funny because some people would comment on my raid builds, this guy is forgetting 2 points. Like, he doesn't know what he's doing. And it's like, no, you don't know what you're doing. These 2 points are useless.
They don't go anywhere.
That's why I don't. They don't. You put them wherever you want, buddy. It don't matter. They don't do anything. So it's 252, 252, 4 at level 100.
Got it.
In Champions, it is the same, except the 2 points get rounded up to 4, so you get 1 extra EV point.
Oh, okay.
That's it.
Got it.
Is that a good change? Maybe. Is that going to matter? Is that actually going to matter? I don't think so. There
Right.
might be like a 2-hour Wolfie Glick video in like a month being like, hey, this 1 extra stat point made Houndoom 0.2% more viable.
There has been so much Houndoom slander on this podcast the last like 3-4 weeks, and I just want to say I'm sorry. I disagree. Steve's over here bashing Houndoom this whole time.
I was gonna say.
I think Houndoom's pretty good.
I was gonna say.
Cool.
Don't say it's podcast slander. It's Steve slandering
Steve's
Houndoom.
slander.
I'm not slandering Houndoom.
Houndoom's cool.
I like Houndoom.
So I do think. So when you look at how would you recruit this Pokemon? It says trial recruitment 7 days, 0 VP. Permanent recruitment, unlimited, 2,500 VP. Permanent recruitment, period, unlimited, pink ticket. And I don't know what pink ticket is called. I don't think there's any confirmation. I think people think they know what it is, but I'm just putting an asterisk here. We don't actually know what pink ticket is.
Right.
Pink ticket could be training ticket, or pink ticket could be quick ticket, which we'll get to in a second with the pricing. But I will say one of my favorite parts about the whole preview was they were like, you have unlimited VP, build a team. So for every day you log in, you get that one, here's your 10 Pokemon, right? And then you pick one of those, and you're like, oh, it's like the price is right here. And so I looked at my list, and I was like, oh, cool, Sneasler. I love Sneasler. I'm going to pick that. And I don't even remember the other 9 Pokemon because I love Sneasler.
Mm.
And so this is already, like, I know Sneasler is very good competitively. But if I'm a casual fan, and this is my first, I'm getting into this game, whatever, I'm probably just going to pick the Pokemon I like.
Yeah.
And if
Yeah.
that's Houndoom, you're in for a rough time when you take that onto the ladder. I'm just going to say.
So you think. You just wait. Houndoom will have its time.
And then after I did that, you can spend VP to do it again. You don't have to wait till the next day.
Sure, of course.
So this is like very, very similar to like TCG Pocket of like,
Yeah.
well, I could just use my tickets and I could get another free pack.
Mm-hmm.
Or I could save my tickets for the new set. So I spent my VP again. Whoosh, bing, 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 bing. And then I was like, okay, here's 10 more Pokemon. And I was like, oh, Incineroar. Don't even know what the other 9 were. I'm picking Incineroar, right?
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what the other 9 are. I'm telling you right now. Here's your first tip for Champions. When you pull that lever and you get your 10 Pokemon and Incineroar is there, you're picking that one.
But this is assuming we get enough points per win or loss to make this worth it.
But this is what I'm saying. When I had unlimited VP,
But you had unlimited.
yes, and I thought that was really fun. And because then I did it again. And then it was like, oh, none of these Pokemon are that good. Then I started to think of like, okay, now I'm trying to like build a team here. Okay, I was like, I already got a fire Pokemon. I got like a fighting poison Pokemon. I guess I'll grab like a water Pokemon. I picked Politoed because I've played lots of Politoed. What's really funny, I don't know if Sierra realized this. When Sierra and I were in a draft league, I beat Sierra with like an Encore Politoed. It was my only win condition was the locker into Encore. And I won that match. And so because I knew I was facing Sierra, I was like, well, I beat Sierra with the Politoed before. I'm going to recruit the Politoed now. But that's what I think Champions is missing. If you were to say like Steve, you were negative on Champions, which I don't think my preview was negative. I think my preview was just like,
Yeah.
not. I think my preview was very fair, and I think I was pretty positive in my preview. But I think what Champions is missing is like a draft mode, because like picking Pokemon and trying to build a team and then using that for a couple battles. Like if there was a mode where you just like none of those Pokemon were if there was a mode that existed in Champions that was go here, pick 6 Pokemon, do for the day, do a bunch of battles, and then at the end of the day, all those Pokemon go back to where they came from. You don't actually get to keep them. If that was just like a mode that existed in some instance, oh my gosh, I would probably play that every day. That would just be like so fun to be like, I might actually have to use Houndoom because it was one of the 10 Pokemon that presented, and I needed like a Fire, Water, Grass core. Like, think about how cool that would be, and that to me appeals to those casual people way more than like, hey, you have so much VP, and maybe you only actually recruit maybe 2 good Pokemon a week, or enough to recruit 2 Pokemon, because obviously you could do the 7-day free trial. But you really kind of have to think about those long-term decisions.
Right.
Because even in like Pokemon Sleep, like you could invest in like a cutie fly, and that is a long-term investment. And then all of a sudden you got a better cutie fly. This actually happened with me for Dedenne. I invested in a Dedenne. It's like level 55. It has 6 gold skill seeds. It has like 2,000 hours of sleep, right?
Yep.
And now I got a better Dedenne. And I don't have the candy to power it up. I don't have the skill seeds to power it up. I need to use my skill seeds for other Pokemon. So is it wise for me to power up this new Dedenne when there are other Pokemon in Sleep I should be powering up?
Right.
But this Dedenne is statistically better.
Right.
But I'm for giving this game $100 a year, Pokemon Sleep, I'm still really limited on resources, and I'm an active playing player of Pokemon Sleep.
Well, if you gave Pokemon Sleep like $200 or $300 a year, you'd have a lot more resources.
That's true. That's true. Speaking of that, $9.99 for the starter pack. You can increase your box space from 30 to 80, which I have questions here, and I don't think other people are asking these questions. But if you have 30 Pokemon that you have paid 2,500 VP for, or you've used the tickets, the pink tickets that we don't know what they are, and you go to recruit your 31st Pokemon, what happens? Does the game go, you need to release something that you've invested in, and goodbye to all that VP, because you're not going to get refunded the VP, obviously.
Right.
Or is the game going to pop up, hey, instead of throwing away that Milotic that you never use, but you've put a bunch of VP into, what if you gave us more money?
100%.
It's for sure that one.
That's for sure what's going to happen.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And if you say, no, I don't want to give you more money, okay, here are 30 Pokemon, delete one. And now you have to have that conversation every single time you recruit. So whether this game lasts 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever, that is going to be a conversation you're going to have for a long-term player.
Yeah.
And of course, with the recruitment, with any of this stuff, the quick response is like, well, you don't have to pay any money. This whole game is free to play, blah, blah, blah. And yes, you are right with your very tunnel vision argument. You are right. This game is completely free to play. You don't have to spend any money. I am sure there's one person listening to this podcast right now who has never put a dime into Pokemon Go. And I got mad respect for you, that you are one of the coolest people I now know, that you have never given Niantic a penny of your dollars. But where was I going with that point? But you could also do that in TCG Pocket. You could complete an entire set in TCG Pocket without spending any money. Theoretically, that is possible. Statistically, though, that's never happening. You are never opening every single pack of what was that first set called with Mewtwo,
Genetic
Pikachu?
Apex.
Genetic Apex. You are there's not a person out there that has only opened Genetic Apex, never spent $1, that has every single card in that set.
Right. Yep.
You just don't. But you could, like, if I said, Bobby, you could get every card in TCG Pocket without spending money, that would be a correct statement.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just have to disclaim that, like, it might take you 35 years.
Right.
But you'll get there eventually.
So you could say you don't have to spend any money in Champions. That theoretically is a correct statement. But realistically, when you look at the pricing and you look at the your pick 10 Pokemon, you look at that, I don't think that's a reality for most players who are not players like me or Bobby or Austin, who we have spent X amount of money on a console. We have spent $60 on this game, $70 on this game, $35 on DLC, and we've poured a bunch of time into that.
Yep.
They did get our money.
Yeah.
In a different way.
Yeah, for sure.
And it also makes me think, just in general, because this game is really just battling other people, I feel like people who are new to competitive or who are playing this game for free and not spending any money are going to fall behind fairly quickly and are just going to lose a lot of battles. Like, unless you are able to really get your team up there without spending money, which is going to take a lot of time, I feel like you're just not going to be winning battles that often. And I don't know, if you go and lose 20 battles in a row, do you just go, oh, this isn't fun? Like, I'm not winning anything. My Pokemon aren't good enough. I don't have anything to do, you know?
So this goes back to me making my video thinking about mobile players. If you don't have a Switch, that means you don't have Scarlet and Violet, you don't have ZA, you don't have Legends Arceus. So your only option is Pokemon Go to recruit, which has its own flaws that no one is thinking about. Like, if I'm not even a daily, like, I'm sure almost everyone who tries Champions also probably has tried Pokemon Go. I'm sure, like, that Venn diagram of, like, Champions players and Go players is probably a complete circle. If there's a person that has, like, never downloaded Pokemon Go and has, I know one person who has never downloaded Pokemon Go who's excited about Champions, and they're going to comment on this. I know who you are, Charon. I know that you exist. But the majority of people who will try Champions will also have probably tried Go. Yeah. Right? So they might have some Pokemon that they can move over. But even when you think about, like, the only mobile players, which is what this game is going to appeal to the most, and push people to get a console, right? Like, at the end of the day, this is a battle sim. This is a platform that people can use. This will last as long as they can to make money and to also provide a space for people to battle. But it's also to go, well, I really like this, and the new Generation 10 is coming out, and that's going to have a new gimmick with new battles. Maybe I'll buy a Switch 2 and maybe I'll buy Gen 10. Like, that is the high level marketing they're doing here. And if you don't think they're doing that, you're just wrong. Like, they're so good at interweaving all of these products to push you to buy their other products.
Yeah.
And, like, we know Gen 10 is going to introduce a new battle mechanic, right? Like, you can't kid yourself there.
Right.
I would be incredibly surprised if there isn't. They
were like, actually, for this generation, no gimmicks.
I think some people would be excited about that, though, to be fair.
And the thing is, too, is that you could say, oh, we don't know, they might just want people playing on mobile, blah, blah, blah. Like, we've seen this happen before. Pokemon Go ended up selling Switches when Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee came out. Because,
Yeah.
and I know this because, I mean, this is anecdotal, but like there was a group of people that I played Pokemon Go with back when the game was like newer, and none of them played Pokemon before Pokemon Go. So, and none of them had Switches before Pokemon Go. And then when Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee came out, and they showed off like how that game, the mechanics of that game worked, and how it was, you know, the throwing was so similar to Go and everything, they all went and bought Switches. They
My
all
mom
wanted, to, you know,
texted me and was like, "I want Let's Go Eevee. I love Pokemon Go."
Yeah.
I was like, "Okay, go pick it up."
Yeah.
Why you texting me? I'm not Target. Go get it.
Yeah, my grandma's never played a Pokemon game, and she saw that Go was like, let's go. And I was like, oh yeah, you might like that one. So
yeah. So
it works.
They've done this before. They're gonna do it again. Like that's just the way that this company works. They're very good at it.
Yeah. It's why they passed Hello Kitty and Harry Potter and Star Wars. They're very good at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that I think that if you're stuck to the recruitment and you don't have the resources, the other games, the console that gives you an advantage, you will have to sincerely play catch up, and you would have to sincerely think about your VP spending. If you want to keep up with other players. Now, eventually, the long-termness of this game is very similar to TCG Live, which is another battle sim. I have everything I need to do TCG Live. I have all the code cards that I can redeem. I know how to get the current cards, but because I haven't been keeping up with TCG Live, that barrier to entry of like, I technically have everything I need, and you technically can't spend money in TCG Live, that I could spend an entire evening doing all of that, but that's an entire evening I have to do just to get started.
Scanning code cards.
Yeah, scanning
For
code
an
cards and
evening.
redeeming
Ugh.
them,
Yeah.
and that is a barrier to entry.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, if I was playing TCG Live a little bit every week, or maybe I even missed a month, I wouldn't have this huge jump of scanning all of these code cards, redeeming all of these packs, right?
Yep.
I would be relatively caught up. And when it was TCG Online, because I was playing TCG Online at least once a month, and I would definitely log in when there would be a new set, I would be caught up every time.
Mm-hmm.
So even if I didn't play until the next set, I would still be caught up. And that's going to happen in Champions. There are going to be Pokemon that completely rotate out. There will probably be a format where there is no Incineroar.
Yeah.
Yeah, they talked about this specifically, that they will be rotating out groups of Pokemon. And there was an article about how someone mentioned that they could eventually get to like 10,000 Pokemon one day.
I hated that article.
And I'm like 99% sure that person was like that statement was like a joke, kind of like a half joke, like a,
okay,
you know, it could get to 10,000 one day.
Yeah,
but
sure.
they
but
did say
they could. My problem with that is they could have easily said 2,000.
They did say 2,000. They said 2,000, 3,000, maybe 10,000.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
they
The
could
headline
say
was just
any
10,000.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
because like 2,000 is realistic. Like in
That
another
is.
30 years, we would definitely have 2,000 Pokemon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they said it would take to like, it would be like 200 years from now or something when we'd have 10,000 Pokemon.
Yeah.
But anyways, my point is that they mentioned in there that even with 1,025 Pokemon, we have now seen since Sword and Shield that they obviously cut the numbers for each of these games, so we don't have all of them in there.
Yeah.
And they're bringing that same concept to Champions. They don't want all 1,025 Pokemon in there at once. They want to rotate things out so that the meta can change, so that people aren't like, oh, I have 1,000 Pokemon to choose from. I don't know what to choose or what to do. So that's going to happen with this game.
Right. So if you put if you are a mobile player and you're recruiting and you have no problem spending money, and or whether you spend money or not, you have X amount of spots, let's just say like the 30. And when a season rotates, does half of your box go gray?
Right.
And be like, well, half of these don't work anymore. And then when you recruit and it says, do you want to spend money to upgrade or do you want to delete? Do you delete the grayed out ones? And then when they come back in, you're going to have to do that whole song and dance again.
Yeah.
Again, you can listen to this podcast and go, Well, none of this matters because I just have all the Pokemon in Pokemon Home. That's great. We're not talking about you. We're talking about the new players that this game is obviously being advertised to. And if those players are waiting for the mobile version, it's very clear they don't have a Switch then. They don't have those games.
Yeah.
Yep.
Speaking of not having those games, there are Pokemon that are not in Go, like Fluttermane, a very prominent VGC Pokemon. You're not going to be able to get that from Go.
Yeah, here's another good example. I live in America. I don't play Go that often, but I play for community days and whatnot. I don't have a Kangaskhan. You know what Pokemon's very good? Kangaskhan. As an American, I cannot get that right now. If I was like, if I see that the top number one team on Champions is Kangaskhan because Wolfie Glick is using it, and I open my game, I'm in America. I can't. I don't have one.
At least you can catch Houndoom all over the world.
I don't think he's in season right now. I don't think you can.
Oh, jeez.
Well, hey.
Wow. Well, if he was better, you could.
Yeah, he's not in season.
Yeah, no.
Like, if you miss Litten Community Day, do you even have enough candy in Go to power up an Incineroar?
That's true.
That's another great
because
point.
Because Litten can't go into Champions. Torracat can't go into Champions. And so if you're sitting at 60 candy for Litten, that's not enough for Incineroar. I think it's 2,500.
Yeah, 2,500. Yeah. No, I think these are all like
they are
concerns.
They are all different barriers for different people.
Yeah.
That will push them away, right? Like, not one person is going to hit all these barriers we brought up.
Absolutely.
Right? And some of these barriers can be alleviated with trading. They can be alleviated with spending money. They can be alleviated with rental teams. I'm pretty sure rental teams are a thing. But even with rental teams, if you use a rental team, like, I make a team, I give it out to my Twitch viewers. I'm like, hey, this is how you play this team. It should, win more times than not if you play it correctly. Does that give you VP? Because that solves a lot of the problems I'm bringing up.
That's true.
True. That's true. So even if you buy this starter pack and you increase your box space, which it's funny, we have not gotten through all the pricing here.
Should we take a break and then come back and then do all the pricing?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. All right, let's take one more break and then we'll go through all the pricing and then anything else we have before we get to our bonus episode. So we will be right back. We are back from our break. Let's do pricing before we get sidetracked again. All right, starter pack, $9.99. Increased box storage from 30 to 80. Battle Trainer, which is a song, from Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee is the exclusive song you would get. You would earn 50 training tickets and 30 quick tickets. And this apparently can be bought at any time. So, unsure if the pink ticket for the VP, or sorry, not for recruiting, is a training ticket or a quick ticket. Or maybe the pink ticket is neither, but you could now argue, if you've made it an hour plus into this podcast, that recruitment is paid for. Okay, of course, you could do it for free, just like in Pokemon TCG Pocket. You could open packs for free and not spend any money. But at minimum, assuming the pink ticket is a quick ticket, that is 30 free recruits, which would then fill your... Is it a permanent increase from 30 to 80? Is that what they're saying?
I would hope so.
It's gotta be, which still isn't a lot of space, as we were talking about, like, rotations and things like that.
Especially if you're like trying to try new things, you can't.
That's the whole point, right? Is to try new things.
To be very clear, this sounds like a great deal.
Sure.
If it does let you recruit 30 Pokemon, but I mean, that still removes the, like, well, the whole game is free kind of thing. No, it sounds like the game is about $10 to at least start.
Yeah.
Which, how many people are going to do this? How many people are going to be like, all right, well, I want to play. Everyone says this is a good deal. I do think it is a good deal. It gives me more storage, which solves some of the problems we've talked about earlier. It gives me the ability to scout more Pokemon, so I can build more teams. Although that's just getting the Pokemon. You still need the VP to change the abilities, the natures, the other stuff. But, like, I just think about, like, the first 2 weeks of Unite. How many people bought a bunch of stuff? Yeah. Now that's 5 years later, they're not playing Unite anymore. But they got that initial rush of money.
Yeah.
Up
but
front.
times do people buy a game and then don't play it many years later?
Well, that's
you
true.
know? So
Think of how many people listening to this with like Steam sale games that they bought on sale and then they've never played.
I bought Mortal Kombat 11 3 days before Sword and Shield came out. I bought it used at GameStop for like $12 and was like, I'll play this. Never played it. Sold it back to GameStop. This is the one time like it was an amazing GameStop situation. 3 years later, sold it back to GameStop for like $15 more than I bought it for somehow.
whoa.
That's crazy.
But anyways, people play games all the time or buy games all the time and then never play them.
So I don't know about like spending the $10 and then not playing the game after so long. I don't know if that's, I don't know. I guess that's just
that
stinks
gets
for
them
you.
their money, right? That gets the Pokemon Company part of what they're trying to do here. Right?
Yeah, I guess that upfront cost.
Yeah,
I guess that upfront cost. You know, there will probably be people like, assuming these quick tickets are those pink tickets. You're gonna have two sets of players, right? You're gonna have the players that they're gonna do their free. Bing, 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 bing. This is how I think slot machines sound in my head. Like
anybody who's been listening and not watching has not seen you pull the lever, so they probably are like, "What is the sound he's doing every time?"
It's like a
until
slot
right
machine.
now when you said slot machine.
Real gotcha machines don't have any noise. Well, so maybe some of them do, but the ones that like in a train station, you just put the coins in. Austin's losing it over here. So you pull the slot machine, you get your free 10 Pokemon, and then maybe you spend one of your quick ticket or training. Unsure what these tickets do.
So I was going to ask actually real quick, when you played, you said there was a pink ticket for recruiting. Was there any other ticket? Like, was there a ticket option when trying to change ability or nature or anything?
We had,
like that?
It only showed VP for us.
Because I feel like they're called training tickets, and I feel like those would be tickets you would use to EVs, abilities, natures. They would use a different ticketing system for that.
I think that makes sense. I think the quick tickets are the recruitment things, and then the training tickets, why there are more of them is when you mess up your Incineroar, you can then do you have more tickets to then fix it, right?
Yeah.
Now, do you think there'll be an auto ticket where I could just click it and it'll automatically build my Pokemon?
There are auto buttons in the game.
Good to know.
Okay.
Good to know.
We cannot have another conversation about EVs and where they should and should not be going because there's people think too much about EVs.
Yeah,
they do.
in like an unhealthy bad way, and the real solution is just put them in the 2 best stats and just play.
Yeah,
and you will get more value out of that than like trying to speculate or think where they should be going. Just put them in the best stats, and that's how you should start. But that's a whole other conversation. So, starter pack seems good.
Yep.
Oh, also, I will for the sake of the preview. They also, to be fair, they haven't really talked about these prices at all. These are not like official prices or officially been shared yet. So maybe by the time this podcast goes up, we get actual prices. But these are.
Well, it sounds like they did. Like whoever got this pricing, it did come from someone officially, but they haven't announced that.
Highlighted by Nintendo Everything, the YouTube channel Pan-Fro Games apparently got some information about pricing at the Nintendo booth.
Yeah. So
I will say this. Sometimes the Nintendo booth doesn't know what they're talking about.
Well, yeah, it makes me think, what are they just giving? Are they just word of mouth giving this information out?
Yeah,
too?
yeah. That's why we have the big. It says they say here on Nintendo Life, once again, the Nintendo and the Pokemon Company have not officially shared any pricing.
Yeah.
So if it's $10 for what we just said, that sounds great. That is, at that point, you're paying for 30 Pokemon to recruit. Okay. Oh yeah, the 2 types of players. Number 1 is the player who will do the daily free recruit, right?
Yep.
Then they might spend a quick ticket or they might not, and then you will have the player that will just rip through VP, because I'm assuming the game's going to give you probably a decent amount of VP up front, so you can at least start playing.
Sure.
You're going to have the other player that's going to use their VP to keep getting more of the slot machines, and then just rip through all their tickets within like the first day.
Right.
So and this is the same as Pocket. Are you going to save your tickets to do a 10 pull, or as soon as you get enough tickets to do a 1 pull, are you just Then
Yeah.
you just rip in that
Right.
single pack.
And just to be clear, with the VP, if you increase your EVs and things like that and change your nature and change your ability, those don't then transfer back to home, right? Like so let's say you have a
that's a
Pokemon.
great question.
Yeah.
Oh, that is a good question.
So when you move, you can't move any of your champion Pokemon out of Champions.
Right.
So if
okay.
you recruited
Yeah.
that Sneasler, he's stuck in Champions forever.
Sure. Yes. Right.
Or if you found a shiny Incineroar in the recruitment thing, that shiny Incineroar stuck in Champions forever.
Right.
Which you could make an argument of like, I don't know, it's why Pokemon Sleep would probably never have home support if the game that actually connects to home will not let you send that shiny Incineroar back. Anyways, if from my understanding, if you took an Incineroar from Sword and Shield and you moved it into Champions, and then you used VP to change everything, and then you moved it back into Sword and Shield, and then you changed everything, when you move it back into Champions, it would remember all of those changes.
Okay.
Right. But if you do all the let's say it has you give it Intimidate. It had Blaze in Sword and Shield. You give it Intimidate in Champions. You now bring it back to Sword and Shield. Does it have Intimidate or does it have Blaze?
That's a great question.
Okay. That's what I was wondering, because I feel like people would go into Champions because it might be easier in some ways to do like EV things and things like that. And then they could then bring them back into their other games that they would have them in.
Maybe I almost feel like it'd be the opposite, where it'd be easier to build in Sword and Shield.
Well, it
Yeah.
wouldn't cost as much, but it would be easier if you don't care about the
because
money
they could
aspect.
see the sliders actively.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And you can quickly do it. You don't have to use items. You don't have to do any of that stuff. If you don't mind the cost, you can quickly do it in Champions and then bring it back to your other games. That's why I was wondering if that's.
If only this game was coming out in a week and we knew this information. So at the preview, they did not want us to hit the store button, and they did not want to talk about pricing. And again, whether you think Champions is going to be good or bad, or it's going to be incredibly successful or it's going to flop, none of that matters. The thing that's important here is that whatever your feelings on Champions is the fact that Nintendo and the Pokemon Company did not want us to look or talk about pricing is very controlled.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They knew that if they presented us pricing, and I know some of the questions being asked was about pricing, and that's why those questions were not finalized and made it to or answered, is because they didn't want us to focus on pricing in any of our previews. To be fair, they didn't require us to make a video or anything. I think I put in my video, like, they didn't, there was no like, hey, we're giving you a free flight, so you need to give us a video. That was never the deal. It was just like, we're bringing you out. If you want to make a video, cool, but you're not required to do anything. You're not required to post about it or talk about it, but we are giving you an early preview. But it's intentional. When a company doesn't want you to, if they're going to say, hey, we're not talking about pricing today, that's because they don't want us to talk about pricing.
It's because it's a free-to-play game, and they don't want the focus the following week to be all about how this free-to-play game costs money.
Yeah, that would dominate the conversation for sure if that was brought out. Yeah. Good or bad, that would be the focal point.
Right. But when they don't want to talk about pricing, it does feel like maybe your pricing's not good. So they have a battle pass. That battle pass is free, just like in Pogo, just like in Unite. And then if you want a premium battle pass, they're saying it's $6.99. And again, none of these are confirmed. I know there are Japanese prices, but who knows what the conversion was, because like wasn't like leaf green. I don't know, leaf green. The Fire Red Leaf Green was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, the numbers weren't exact until
they weren't exact until we saw pricing.
Yeah,
I thought there was a monthly membership on top of a 12-month membership, but there is a 12-month membership, so that's $50 for 12 months. Store more Pokemon in their box, which I don't. Okay, I don't know why you would need more than 80.
More than 80?
Yeah, it says have more battle teams usable at one time. So in Sword and Shield Scarlet Violet, I think you could have 6 or 8 battle teams at once. This was never an issue.
Right.
This was like that. This was never. But I don't know how many you get to begin with. If you're only getting 2 to begin with,
2 or 3. Yeah.
Unlock member-exclusive missions. Unlock member-exclusive battle songs. I thought I saw something where it was like win a battle with a grass Pokemon and you would get more VP. Almost like
Okay.
a Pokemon Go kind of thing.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure.
I like that.
But
Yeah.
again, that doesn't really encourage, like if you're already losing,
Yeah.
like it's almost like the
Yeah.
rich get richer in that sense of like, oh, I can win with a Noctowl, I can win with a Houndoom.
Yeah.
But maybe
Right.
a new player can't win with a Houndoom because it's not
Sure.
really a great Pokemon.
Yeah. That makes
Houndoom really
sense.
getting the short of the stick on this episode. The $6.99 Battle Pass, unlock extra rewards on the Battle Pass that you would otherwise have to buy in the shop, and then exclusive clothing.
Sounds like Go, right?
Yeah.
You have the battle pass, you can pay $6 or $7 and you get the premium.
Again, you don't have to spend any money, right? This is always going to be the argument. You don't have to spend any money in TCG Pocket, and you can get every card in TCG Pocket for free. Just put a giant asterisk behind that and say that it will probably take you 50 years to do that. But I think it is annoying that in the past with Sword and Shield, I bought Sword and Shield for $60. I bought the DLC for $30. That's $90, and that was 3 years of content. And then I bought Scarlet and Violet. That was like what, $100, and that was almost 4 years of content.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And you're saying for the rest of my life now, I'm gonna have to give you $50 on top of then buying the next game and the DLC for the next game, right?
Yes. That is
Because
what they're
okay,
saying.
here's
I mean,
another
to-
thing to think about.
Half the
Here's
price
a-
of sleep.
Here's another thing to think about. That you're right. It is to have a price of sleep. Because it will be like, well, you don't have to buy the new game. You can just get it here. Okay. Well, let's say there's a water Incineroar. Let's say the little gecko turns into a water Incineroar. The gecko's very good. Water Incineroar. That's the one to do. Sounds like buying the new game and then transferring it over is actually the easiest way to go,
Mhm.
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Because when is Water Gecko going to come to Pokemon Go? And how soon is Water Gecko going to come to the recruitment?
Yeah.
Mhm. Yep.
Look at all these questions. Let me give you another question that I feel like people aren't thinking about is when the competitive format for whatever, how long is a format supposed to last? Like a month and a half or something, I think they said.
Maybe something
Let's
like that.
just
Sure.
say it's 2 months. Let's say every 2 months the competitive format rotates. I thought they said month and a half, but let's just say every 2 months you're going to need new Pokemon. What happens when that stuff is legendary? My first example that comes to head is Landorus.
Mhm.
Landorus
Mhm.
is not a Litten. It's not a Pidgey. It's not a Houndour. It's not something that I could open up my game and go, I don't even know what's in my house right now. Well, I'll open up my game. We'll get back to that. We'll see what's in my house. Not a Kangaskhan, though. But if you live in Australia, could be a Kangaskhan. Is Landorus going to appear in the recruitment? Is it like, think about this.
Maybe.
Because
Okay.
I feel like it should be more expensive if it's Landorus.
I got a Weedle. That would be good if I had enough candy for Beedrill, although I don't think Mega Beedrill is very good competitively. I got an Ekans, I got a Hoppip, I got a Pikapeck, and I got a Drifloon. You know what's not in the wild? A Landorus. So this goes back to like, well, just trade it from Pokemon Go. You're assuming there's a lot of assumptions here. And again, these barriers don't apply to every single person. But if it applies to a handful of people, even if it's 10 people, that's 10 less people now not interested in competitive. If Landorus is
Yep.
the best Pokemon,
Yeah.
you live in Appleton, Wisconsin, you got no one to raid with to do Landorus. Even if Landorus is in raids, you would have to either remote in, spending money. I spent $2 on this Landorus, and now I can send it to and again, people are going to say, well, just trade. That doesn't make Champions any less accessible than any previous Pokemon game, because in all those games, you could simply just say, just trade.
Right.
So if your argument is this game is more accessible, and then you follow up with, well, just trade, that does, you could have done that in it. Look, you could come to me and say, Steve, I need a Landorus for competitive. Well, good thing for you. Oh, maybe not Landorus. Maybe you want Necrozma, because I got 113 Necrozma in Pokemon Go. If you came to me and you were like, I really need Necrozma, I can get you a Necrozma. I can move it into Scarlet and Violet. I can EV train it. I can hyper train it. I can send it off to you in less than 5 minutes because I unfortunately lived that life. But if you don't have a Switch and you're excited for Champions because your very first game was like Ruby and Sapphire and you just didn't buy a Switch in the last 8 years and you want to get into competitive, there are multiple barriers that are going up when you think about new Pokemon, when you think about legendary Pokemon, when you think about what is actually available in Go or not available in Go. You could trade in home, I guess. That's another thing.
Yeah.
Who's doing that?
There's just like there's another thing that like I think about is that just people are lazy.
Okay.
The listeners are lazy. Video game players are lazy. I'm lazy.
Wow. Okay.
And I want to present a scenario that happened, and this will confirm this laziness scenario.
Okay.
Niantic has done a bunch of bad things.
Sure.
Pick whatever bad thing you want. Listener, if you're driving in your car, maybe pull over and just imagine, close your eyes on the side of the road and think, how did Niantic screw me over in the last 10 years? Now take any one of those situations, and you probably went to, I'm done playing Pokemon Go. I'm going to move all my shinies into Pokemon Home.
Okay.
No one did that. One person listening is about to type on YouTube chat being like, hey, I did that and I stopped playing Go. And that's awesome. But it is so easy to open up Pokemon Go, pick 5 shiny Pokemon, hit the transfer button, open Pokemon Home, receive those Pokemon, and then wait 7 days and do it again. If you were doing that every week for a month, that would be 40 shiny Pokemon you're moving.
That'd be 20.
Sorry, 20. Whew, that's why we have a countdown on the show. So you have 20. That's every month you can move 20 shiny Pokemon. And if you were doing that for the last, how long have they had that feature? Like 4 years?
Yeah.
You would probably be done. But there are probably people looking at their phone right now with 200, 300, 400 shiny Pokemon being like, I said I was going to do that and I never did it.
It's a lot of work.
It is. Think about that for Champions.
Home is slow.
So think about even if it's not Pokemon Go. Like, oh, okay, I gotta find where's my Incineroar? Is it in my copy of Scarlet? Is it my copy of Violet? Okay, move it into Pokemon Home. Okay, now it's in Home. I gotta read that. These are just extra steps. And there are some players that don't even want to get up from their couch and switch the cartridge of their game in their Switch. Bobby raised his hand for the audio people.
Yep.
And so I think this is another barrier where it's just like, I don't want to transfer this Pokemon over.
Yeah.
And again, it's not a huge thing, but when you add up all these tiny little things, it can definitely lead to players falling off. One of the reasons why I fell off of Unite is like, I don't want to go through all. Like, I know when I open up Unite, there's gonna be 30 pop-ups.
All those pop-ups.
And I don't want any pop-ups.
Yep.
I don't want to do it. But again, this doesn't apply to like. If you're simply coming there to battle and you know what you're doing and you've been battling, most of this stuff can be ignored.
Yeah, I mean, if you listen to a Pokemon podcast and you like battling, you're probably gonna like be fine with this. But again, they're trying to open up competitive to more and more people.
Right, that's their main goal with this.
And that is going to, like you said, I think there will be an initial surge. And I don't even think I think this game actually looks pretty cool. Like when it comes to the actual look of the game and the battling and everything that I've seen in the trailer and the preview and everything, it looks cool. I think it looks cool. But
I love battling. It's great.
But all of the things you said surrounding it to get the Pokemon there and do all of that, I think it is just a much bigger barrier to new players than people, understand.
Yeah, I mean, even as something as like, I could walk down the street 10 minutes there, 10 minutes back, and do a free raid. But what if I just don't leave my house and I just hit the remote raid button? Players will take shortcuts, and some players will spend the money instead of doing the thing that they need to do, which is fine. If I'm not here to tell you how to spend your money, but there is going to be a handful of players out there who have all these Pokemon in other games, and they're just going to spend the money in Champions.
Yeah,
they're just going to hit the slot machine. They're just going to buy the 30 quick tickets. They're going to buy the premium pass. They're going to do the things. Obviously, they're going to hit a wall, right? Like in Pokemon Sleep, there's a certain point where you can spend enough money and like you still got to wait for the game to do the game thing.
Yeah.
To be fair, it doesn't look like, I mean, just from the little pricing that we got that isn't official yet, basically, it doesn't look like there's a way to, like, there's the starter pack, there's a membership, there's a premium battle pass, but it doesn't look like there's a way to just continuously spend more and more and more money.
Yes.
Right? There is a point, unless there's like individual pricing that for things that they just didn't bring up here.
I can't imagine there's not going to be like, here's an outfit, here's Red's outfit for $5, right? Like that has to exist.
That seems likely.
Maybe, but even on the website, on the Champions website, they talk about the shop, but they talk about how the shop is used to buy things like Megastones and other items for victory points.
Right.
Yes, so and there should be some Megastones you never buy with victory points. There should be some held items you never buy with victory points.
Yeah, so I don't know, but it, I mean, obviously, like you said, people will spend money. Like this is a free to start game. You can definitely play it for free forever if you want to, but if you're really jumping into competitive and wanting to play competitive, I feel like you're going to either have to spend some money or you're going to have a Switch and have all of these games so that you can move Pokemon into home and then over to. And if you want to have more than 30 Pokemon in home, you already have to pay $16 a year. So there's another subscription on top of all of it that you have to be paying for.
Yep, and there might be a point where if this is enough of a hassle, where you're enjoying the game, but you're frustrated about how you're getting Pokemon, especially if you are a mobile player, you will go, well, I guess I'll buy a Switch and I guess I'll buy Gen 10 because I will be able to get those Pokemon way easier going forward.
Yep.
And that's not even saying like, when this game comes out, $10 for the starter pack, $50 for the 12-month membership. If you're all in, if you are one of the non-mobile competitive people and you're going to go all in on this, that's the same price as Sword and Shield or Scarlet and Violet, $60. And then how often are you buying a battle pass? Like you're well over $100 a year.
Yeah.
Because the battle passes and I think I bought like the first 3 battle passes in Unite before I stopped buying battle passes. I have 2 more points. First point is about the accessibility. To wrap up all this accessibility, I was explaining how I explained accessibility to you guys and to the listeners today. I think I was more long-winded in my Twitch thing, but one of my Twitch users, I said I would give them credit. Lord Hammeracy, giving them credit. There we go. I'm not stealing this quote or saying that I thought of it myself, but they summarized what I said. They said, I'm hearing what you're saying and I'm seeing the bigger picture. This is like higher education. There is a version of accessibility that is you're in the door and you're positioned to give us tuition. And then there's a version that is you're in the door and you're positioned to succeed and graduate. And no matter push comes to shove, what matters the most to the institutions is the former, not the latter. And I think that's how that's what I was trying to get with that Champions. They are saying you here's the platform. It's you're here. Welcome to Pokemon Champions. We got everything you need and you don't have to spend money. But that doesn't mean you're going to actually succeed or graduate from Pokemon Champions.
That was well said, yeah.
Yeah. And that's almost how I feel that is how I feel about it. Like and that's not to say Champions is like a bad game or Champions is going to flop, but I do think people are really overplaying the accessibility of this game for newer players, and the game is marketed towards newer players. Look at that 6-minute Nintendo video. That
Yeah.
is look at how they're answering the interview questions with like, well, we don't want to put Clefairy or Porygon 2 in the game because we don't want to confuse players. You're not confusing a single competitive player with a Porygon 2 or a Clefairy. You're not.
Yeah.
They know exactly what to do with those Pokemon. Is that bad? No. But the reason we're having this conversation is because I think as Pokemon players, and especially as Pokemon players who would like to give their money to products, we should think about what these companies are doing, and that's your choice whether you agree with it or not. I don't mind giving Pokemon Sleep $50 every 6 months because I genuinely enjoy Pokemon Sleep. I do mind giving Pokemon Home $16 a year because I don't think it's worth $16 a year. And I don't think ILCA has done anything in the last 6 years that has made me confident about that $16.
Well, it's a good thing Ilka's not making any other oh, no.
Oh, wait a minute. I also I lied. I do have 2 more things. It's always 2 more things after 2 more things. The first thing is I don't understand this narrative of people saying, well, they can do more with Champions now that it's on another platform. And now and that frees up Game Freak to do other stuff. Number one is Game Freak is still making the Pokemon and still balancing the Pokemon and still giving the moves, right? Like, I don't know if people know this, but like when a designer designs a Pokemon, they're also not picking the ability and not the moves. There's a separate team that decides how a Golurk, I'm using Golurk as an example because James Turner literally came out and said, I made Golurk. I didn't know what ability they were going to give it or what moves they were going to give it. I don't even think he decided the typing of Golurk.
Right.
He just made Golurk. And so the narrative of like, well, they can do more because a different company is making it. No, Game Freak is still balancing and making these Pokemon, right?
Yeah,
and they're still going to have to balance and figure it out in Gen 10.
Yeah, they said that one of the, I can't remember who it was, but one of the like original battle designers of Pokemon is like working on this game, on the balancing of everything for Champions and everything too. So it's like, yeah, they obviously they have a big part in, like, Ilka's just designing the game, but like the Pokemon Company or Game Freak are the ones who are in there, you know, making sure that the Pokemon are balanced where they're supposed to be.
So the 2 thoughts is, one is you have ILCA making this game, right? And ILCA has done nothing to prove. If I'm going to give this game $50 a year, I want to see more stuff that isn't just, okay, the format rotated. Like I want to see, I would love to see a gym leader battle tower. I would love to see a draft mode. I would love to see or know that these things are coming in the future to make it feel like my $50 is going to making this game actively better.
I agree.
If this game in 2 years or 3 years is the same exact thing it was, which is ultimately what Pokemon Home is, there's only a handful of things that Pokemon Home has added. Like they added medals a year ago. Not that many people actually care about medals. I think it's kind of neat, but like that's not a driver of that. So you have a company with at least a track record of another game where we're giving it $16 a month or a year, and it's not. It's ultimately the same thing it was 6 years ago. And you're saying, well, they can do more with this now that it's on another platform. What was stopping them with Scarlet and Violet?
Yeah.
Please tell me, why couldn't they do any of this in Scarlet and Violet?
Right.
And they didn't. So I don't understand this narrative of like, oh, well, they can do more. I would love to see it. I would love to give them $50 for them to do more. But let's not pretend that they couldn't have done that in Scarlet and Violet. Let's not pretend that ILCA hasn't done anything to make Pokemon Home worth the $16 a year. They're just not. And again, this is just like, that narrative is just in. I don't know how you got there. I don't know how did we get here? Why are we putting big hopes and dreams into something that doesn't exist yet? But at least we can look at the 2 outside things and go, well, that didn't happen here and that didn't happen here, and now they're coming together. Why would it suddenly happen?
Yeah. Well, ILCA does make Pokemon Sleep, huh?
Okay.
So.
they were given like the biggest golden ticket in the world, and the sleep team was like, I think we're gonna move on from this. So somebody take our roadmap here.
True.
The other thing that I want to bring up before we wrap up is the perception that like competitive isn't like a really healthy place. I don't know how to like frame this conversation, but I was talking to Mr. Joe Serby, and he ran the numbers. So he ran all these numbers off Serby, and he gave me the numbers, and I was like, I'm gonna bring this up on the podcast, Joe, and he was like, please do. So from 2022 to 2025, the Pokemon TCG competitive scene has grown 300%. And now, if you've ever been to a tournament, you would know that there are like 10 times the amount of TCG players that there are VGC players.
Mm-hmm.
Just like if you look at like a regionals on like Twitch or something and you see all those tables, almost all of those people are TCG.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's just very dominant. Now, I think there's this weird perception, and this is not throwing any shade at Wolf Glick or anything. I think I sat next to Wolf Glick when I played Champions. We talked about us meeting and battling at a trash can back during Black and White, and we talked about how like we ran into each other at Yokohama. I sat next to him at Champions. He was very excited to play the game. It was like cool to see how excited he was. But you would think like going to his YouTube channel, and I think his YouTube channel is fantastic. His videos are getting 1 million, 2 million, 3 million views, right? Like they're killing it. Absolutely killing it. There's not a single TCG YouTuber that is coming even close to that in views. Not even like, I can't even think of a TCG competitive viewer, somebody not card opening. I can't think of a single competitive TCG viewer that even gets like 500,000 views on their video. Even though in real life, the TCG is grown 300%, and you can see it when you're at a tournament. From 2022 to 2025, VGC has grown 30%. And online competitions in the last 3 years are down 60%.
Ugh.
So there is a very clear reason why Champions exists, and it goes back to what we've been saying for the last hour and a half. They want new people. They do.
Yep.
And we just spent 90 minutes talking about how new people could be turned off from this game.
Yep.
But they definitely want new people. The numbers don't lie. And I think there's this perception in the VGC scene of like, oh, it's really healthy, and look at how good Wolf Glick is doing. Wolf Glick on his shoulders that cannot carry the entire VGC community. How are there 2 billion people watching your latest YouTube video? Why are they not playing the game?
Yeah. Maybe this is just a me thing, so maybe it doesn't go for everybody, but I feel like at least VGC for me is the same way I feel like other people maybe feel about football, where it's like, I love watching VGC. I get the general idea. I know when a player breaks a rule, blah, blah, blah. I know it was but I couldn't do that. I couldn't play football. I couldn't play VGC.
You said we were going to play flag football this weekend.
Okay, well, I'll play flag football. I'm not playing with the big dogs. You know what I mean?
Right. You're not playing with the Incineroar, the big
obviously.
dogs. I'm
bringing
that's a cat.
Houndoom.
You're not playing with the Zacians, the big
I'm bringing
dogs.
Houndoom to flag football, okay?
You're bringing the Houndoom. I'm bringing the Zacian.
Yeah.
There's a very clear, yeah, I understand.
And maybe it's because I grew up playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And other things, but I feel like TCG is so much easier to just learn and figure out how to play, and it's less fun to watch. And so I think more people are picking up TCG because it's maybe easier to get into.
I
But
think
more
you're
people
right.
are watching VGC because it's more entertaining. At least that's my point of view.
No, I think
Yeah.
you're 100% right.
I think TCG is more, yeah, because I don't want to say the TCG. I don't want to say is like it's simple, but I feel like there are so many opportunities to go and play the TCG and learn the game. And
It also just says what you got to do on the card.
it says you have to do on the card, but also you can build something and go play with people and not feel like you have to like have the best setup and still have fun. And I feel like that doesn't translate into the VGC as well. So it's like I can go build a deck that is like not going to do well competitively in the TCG, but I can go play with people and have a great time using that deck, right? Like you see it when it's like when a new set comes out. They just give people decks in the build and battle boxes that they just
I see
make
what you're
out
saying.
of.
Yeah.
You can,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
not going to be a competitively viable deck, but you can play the game with other people and like have a good time, even if your deck isn't like the number one deck. And I feel like the VGC, while it may operate similarly, it's not the vibe that it gives off. The vibe the
Right.
VGC gives off is like you have to get the right Pokemon, you have to power them up the right way, or else you're just going to get stomped and it's not going to be a fun time. TCG doesn't like operate that same way, or it doesn't feel like it operates that same way.
I agree.
I know, as somebody who's played both competitively, I know what you say. I don't really know how to put into words, but I think you've summarized it. Like I get it. I understand.
I think it's easier to be a casual TCG player than
Yes.
it is to be a casual VGC player.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, I think casual VGC players are the people who just want a battle tower,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
and that doesn't exist in this game.
Right.
Like, yeah. Like I don't think I've never thought, even in Pokemon Unite where it has like a ranked mode and like a casual mode, I've never been the person that clicks casual because like I don't think, to me, it lowers the odds. Like if I lose, I
Sure.
still feel like I lost.
Right. Yeah.
And if I won, I'm just like, ugh, I wish I was ranked because then I would have got points.
Yeah.
So it feels bad like both ways.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
But I'm sure there are plenty of people that like hit the casual button. And they're like, maybe I'll take the team into casual and then I'll do that and then I'll move on to ranked. But then I'm like, well, now you're not getting like VP. Maybe you are getting VP in casual. I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah. So it is a battle sim. It is exactly what it is. There is no single player. There is no like battle NPCs or anything. I didn't think in a million years there would be some gotcha-ish mechanics to get you to. I mean, ultimately, it's to get you to log in every day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't really think of like how would a competitive game get you to log in every day. Oh, this is how they're going to do it.
Yeah, it's still weird to me that when I think about the way that I thought this game would play out as like a battle simulator, if you have home, it makes sense. You bring your Pokemon in from home, you can bring anything in, build whatever team you want, and it's great. If you don't have home and you don't have these Pokemon, it just feels like the randomization of what you're able to battle with. I don't feel like that helps people like get better.
No, I don't think so either.
And so it's like you want to bring in all these new people, but then you're like, and here are 10 Pokemon and all of them might be bad.
They might be bad.
Yeah. And it feels like a very weird way to introduce people into this game that is so dependent on exactly which Pokemon you're bringing in. It's like, it's so dependent on that. And if you don't have home, you are at a huge disadvantage right off the bat. And I get that is supposed to be like, well, you don't want to be at a disadvantage, so you should probably go get a home subscription, and maybe you should pick up that Switch and get Scarlet and Violet while it's out so you can get a bunch of Pokemon. But I don't feel like that. Those are all such big barriers.
Yeah.
It just
well,
feels
$50
like,
a year for Champions, $16 a year for home. So bare minimum, you're at $66, right? Like, are you going to get a $50 a year Champion subscription and not have a home subscription?
I would think not.
No, I think those two things kind of go hand in hand, right?
Like, I'm sure you could make it work. But, like, I think the reason why they don't have proper storage in Champions is because they don't want you to store in Champions. They don't want you to get around the Pokemon Home 30.
Right.
They want you to buy a home subscription. And again, we're just pointing out how this company is making money and how they're funneling players into like getting a Switch, getting a Gen 10, getting a new game, right? Like you even at the very basic level, I can say that like Legends Arceus existed for some competitive players to get an Amorous. And
Uh-huh.
that was the only way you could get an Amorous, right? Maybe a better example is like the Scarlet and Violet DLC. Or sorry, the Sword and Shield DLC.
Mhm.
You want the Sword and Shield DLC for $30. Here is how you get Urshifu.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And you could trade somebody's Urshifu. We already talked about the trading conversation works for every game, but you gotta buy a base game, and then you gotta buy this to get Urshifu. And they've been doing this for years. This is not anything new with Scarlet. Like literally,
Right.
Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. If you want Blacephalon or Stakataka, you gotta buy a whole new game. Sun and Moon.
Worth it.
Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. Sorry. And so like this isn't anything new for that. And so they're just doing this at a different level. They're just doing this as like, well, here's champions over here. Here you can spend some money over here, but you also have to connect to Pokemon Home. Hey, you can spend money over here. You can go in Pokemon Go and you need a Landorus. You can spend some money to do some raids over here and then move it over. Here's a new game coming out, which will be definitely easier to get new Pokemon. You can buy a console and spend money over here. And none of this is saying it's bad or it's the end of the world or we're being negative. None of this is negative or bad. It's just we're pointing out how this company is making money, and you as a consumer should be aware of it. And you can then choose whether you want to interact with that.
Yep.
And if you have more time than money, you can avoid some of the money. But people are lazy. And sometimes hitting that $2 remote raid button is a lot easier than walking down the street.
It's always easier than walking down the street.
That's why they charge you $2 for it. But then there's like at the surface level, there's like where's your own personal threshold? Right. If it's a 10-minute walk, are you going to do that walk? Is it a 20-minute walk? Or is that when you hit the remote raid button? Obviously, if it's in Taiwan and you're living here, you're going to hit the remote raid button. But, like, where is your own personal threshold of, like, I'll walk to this or I'll remote in?
Yep.
I'll recruit this. I'll build this Incineroar that I recruited because it's right here, and I'll put my VP into it. Or I'll close the app. I'll boot up Scarlet and Violet. I'll grab that Incineroar. I'll give it the ability capsule. I'll move it to Pokemon Home. I'll close the app. I'll open Pokemon Home. I'll make sure it's ready. So you see what I'm saying? Like, where is your own personal threshold?
So much.
Right. And also just the fact that, like, when this game is on mobile, there's going to be a lot of times when, and maybe not a lot of times, but there's going to be times when you aren't at home or you aren't with your Switch because you have your phone and you're out somewhere or you're whatever, and you want to play the game and you want to put a team together, and then you're like, oh, that Pokemon is in Scarlet and Violet or Sword and Shield right now. I can't access that Pokemon right now to put it into Champions. I have to go, imagine going to a tournament or something or going somewhere and you have your phone to do to play Champions, and then you're like, your Switch is at home and you're like, oh no, that Incineroar is sitting in Sword and Shield or whatever, like Scarlet and Violet right now, right? Like, I have no way to access that Pokemon.
It's crazy because we just spent almost 2 hours talking about Champions, but not actually talking about the game itself. It's just like all the menus and mechanics around the game. Because like once you're actually battling, it's like it works fine. It's like perfect.
It looks like battling. It looks really good. I don't know. The Pokemon not sprites, the Pokemon models look really good.
I'm surprised about the character models. Those look real good.
I think the characters look awesome.
Yeah.
I think like you ever boot up TCG Live? It's like what
good.
nightmare fuel did they put on this?
Yeah.
Yes.
No, the game looks great. The game itself looks great.
Like all the menus and everything looked really great too. Like I was playing on the enhanced Switch 2 version, so it didn't give me like that Unite effect of like, oh my gosh, everything's like lagging and like pop-ups are here.
Is it slow or is it quick?
No, it was
like
all very
menu
quick.
to menu. It's
everything.
Nice and
everything was super quick.
Nice.
Yes.
Does it seem like there's going to be a possibility for a lot of red bubbles popping up that you got to click on and say yes and say confirm?
Not
I agree.
that I know of, but I did hear that if you go through all the tutorial stuff, the tutorials will award you VP, just like in Pocket. The Pocket stuff awarded you packs.
Yeah.
So I think that'll be like an annoying slog to like. For me, it would be an annoying slog. For like most people should probably do that, but like I know that you can't prankster taunt a Absol, right? It doesn't work.
Right.
I don't know if the tutorial even explains that. It's like a very niche.
I was like, I don't think that tutorial was explaining those types of things.
Yeah, I don't know. And you further think out of like what happens when they bring Gigantamax Pokemon. Can you get like a regular? What if a regular Orbeetle shows up versus a Gigantamax Orbeetle? And it's like, well, the easiest way to do that would either be one, Pokemon Go, which Gigantamax Orbeetle hasn't appeared yet, or
Not
two, go back to Sword and Shield and move it over from Sword and Shield.
Mm-hmm.
So it is really like the longevity of this, where these pieces start to come of like, oh, I don't have this.
Yeah.
And then the answer is always like, well, just trade for it. Yep. That doesn't make Champions any better than any other game if your answer is just trade.
I did have one question.
Yeah.
Did you notice any like spectate option?
I read that there is a spectator mode. I didn't see a button for it.
Sure.
I don't know where that button would have been. They were very like looking at our screens, making sure we didn't like click through menus we weren't. So yeah. I don't know. I would love if there was like a button where you could just like almost like Twitch, where you could like flip through and like scroll through people that are actively battling. Yeah, I think that would be like really cool.
That would be cool.
But I don't think there's like a replay mode either. Which Unite, if you paid money, you get like 30 free replays or whatever.
Okay.
I don't think there's anything like that here, but I wouldn't be surprised. Again, like that would be a good thing to add in the future. Like, where's my $50 going? Because if this game is the same exact game in 2 years, what are we paying for?
What's the difference? Yeah.
Well, Ilka is known to update their games over time, right?
Yeah. Yeah. BDSP got one mystery gift.
And Home's getting updates constantly, right?
Yeah, I love that we still cannot see ribbons on the Switch version of Home after 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when they're like, oh, get the alphas and get the jumbos and get the tinies. Great, I can't see any of those on the Switch version. Awesome.
Thanks,
Ilka. All right, that'll be our show for you guys. Obviously, when Champions comes out, I'll be streaming it. And I don't know. I mean, like, you can get a lot of competitive teams elsewhere. I think there's a lot of really good competitive resources out there, but sometimes people ask for like, what team are you using? I would love to use it. But I think it is easier to use a team that you've seen somebody play.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Because then you can ask them like, why are you always opening with these two Pokemon? Or why did you decide not to open with those two Pokemon? I don't think Pokesports is active, but I always pointed people to Pokesports because they would take teams. They would do 3 battles with it. They would explain what the team is supposed to do. So that's always fun. But there's already like a lot of really good resources out for competitive. But I will play it when it comes out. I'm really excited. I'd be curious of like what I can do without spending money.
Yeah.
As somebody who like has it all.
Right.
I'd be curious of like if I can just move in, if I could like train a bunch of Pokemon and like ZA and move them in and be like, cool, I did this without spending a single dime.
Yeah.
So that'd be neat. If you are sticking around from our premium feed, we'll give you our thoughts on the Pokopia ending. So sorry, Pokopia is behind a paywall again. As it for $6.99, you can get our Pokopia Battle Pass.
It's worth
it. The credits. Patreon.com/PKMNcast. For $5, you get ad-free episodes and you get the longer episodes if you would like to do that. You can also sign up for a free trial. And if you just want to hear our thoughts on the Pokopia ending, and I've been posting like the Pokopia stuff, tips and stuff over on Patreon as well. I think like in the last year, I've really tried to make Patreon like just not like, here's where the new episodes go. So like not everyone has Twitter, not everyone has Instagram, not everyone sees everything. So I'm like putting other stuff on Patreon. So it's like, I don't know where to find this. Most of like the good stuff that I create is like right there. Like all the graphics for Pokopia are under the free section of Patreon, so you don't even need an account. So if you're like, Steve, didn't you make a bunch of Pokopia graphics? I put them all in one place. So it's just easy to point people to that instead of saying like, "Hey, go through my Twitter and
Yeah.
like scroll through it." And like,
Try to find it.
if you scroll back far enough, you should find everything. So if almost treating it like a website in that sense.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I do pay for a website that's not updated, but if you're already getting the new episodes from the Patreon, the other stuff
Might
is
as
there.
well.
So
Yeah.
if you're not making it to the premium feed, thank you for making it to the end. Thank you, Austin. Thank you, Bobby. Stick around. If you are on premium, this has been another episode of the Pokemon Podcast, and we are
Super effective.
Super still unsure about champions.
It has Houndoom, though.
Oh no. This is so opposite of what this game is supposed to be. I'm like, it's okay. I'll be cozy about it after I get to credits.
I gotta get there first.
I was like, now that I know like what it takes and how
Yeah.
close I am, I just gotta do this.
I feel like the end of the game is a little tight